Hello, this is Philip, or Addicted Stars 23, and this is my response to, I think it's week 4 of Daily SW Collecting. And this week, of course, is on the Power of the Force line, like, what do you think of it? So, first, because I don't really have many carded figures, so, well, actually, I really have none, so, I just got pictures to kind of show you guys, to talk about the pack, like, what I think of the Power of the Force packaging really quick. Basically, like, that's like on the screen I have the basically, like, what the forward packaging variants really were. The first one will kind of have like a red lightsaber in the background. Second one, well, next two had like green lightsabers in the background. The only difference between those two is one has the freeze frame slide on it, and one just has like a holographic kind of picture, is what people call it. And then the third one, I think, was like the very end of the Powered Force line, where lightsabers kind of like um it's kind of positioned differently. I never really how to word it. All of them kind of have the same picture of Darth Vader. I really don't like the cartoon Darth Vader. It looks like a knockoff to me. It looks like the cards, to me they look like something you'd see in a dollar store. I really don't like them. They just look like cheap knockoffs to me. I know to some of you who like the cards, I'm probably insulting you right now. I kind of feel like a hypocrite whenever I say I don't like the cartoon Darth Vader, because like I said in my packaging, um, like what I thought about the packaging last week was, I like the Revenge of the Sith packaging the most, and that has a cartoon Darth Vader in the background. I guess it just, like, I don't like the way that one's drawn, and I prefer the way the Revenge of the Sith one's drawn. But anyway, I grew up with Revenge of the Sith. I kind of was too late for Power of the Force. I mean, like, when I was born, I was like, what, like 2 when the line ended? So, I wasn't. I, I have a couple Power of the Force figures I had when I was a kid, but I don't have many figures from. But anyway, we're more talking about the packaging right now, so that's kind of the full packaging variants. Nothing really else to talk about here. So that I'll start showing you the figures I own. Okay, I'm back now. Now I'm gonna kind of show you guys, like, some of the figures. I have very few Power of the Force figures. I'm not a big fan of the line, so I'm gonna try not to insult it too much. And with the first few I really wanted to show you, but I really only have like 4 Power of the Force figures. It's nothing compared to how many there were. But I'm gonna I have like pretty much one from each kind of phase of Power of the Force, so I'll kind of show you them. And with this is really the only figure I have to kind of show that the early Power of the Force figures, they basically, had these bodybuilder sculpts. Looks like, they think the entire cast of Star Wars was doing steroids while filming. Actually, that's what most people say. This one's the Power of the Force 2 Darth Vader. Of course, most people complain about he had a plastic cape, but you see, I got this one when I was a kid, and I got him without the cape or the lightsaber, so I don't really know what the cape is like. I just know what the actual figure's like. Mine is really, really loose limbed. That's the way I got. Like, when I was giving him. One of my friends gave him to me when I was little, so this was my childhood Darth Vader, really. But I'm not sure if his limbs were that loose when he came in the packaging. When I got him, his limbs were this loose. So, if any of you know, like, if most of the time if his limbs are being loose is a problem, you can you please, like, comment and tell me, because I'm not really sure. But I just got him like this when I was little. Which when I got him when I was little, he was a lot better painted. The paint is starting to get scraped up and getting dirty from, me playing with him for years as a kid. But anyway, like I said, that's the main problem. He actually does have pretty standable articulation. Like he's pretty much got swivel, everything on the torso except elbows and wrist or forearms, and he's actually got knee articulation, which for the time wasn't very common. But anyway, that's kind of a cover of what most of the steroid phase figures look like. Now I'm going to show you one from when it started to get a bit better. This one I'm going to the next figure I'm going to show, I'm going to use a bit of a base for like articulation and everything. This one is the Yavin Ceremony Luke Skywalker. This was like from the very late Power of the Force when the line started to get better. This one is actually not as good as the other ones because he's still kind of like, this one was still kind of harboring against this. So I don't know how he'd word it exactly, but he's still trying to, head back there pretty much. Like, when Hasbro started, he looks a bit. I mean, he looks a bit bulky. He's got a really wide stance. He's hard to stand. Like they did that a lot with Power of the Force. So he's pretty hard to stand. He does not like to stand at all. And of course, pretty much the standard articulation for, Power of the Force was, swivel neck, swivel shoulders, swivel waist, swivel hips, and that's it. That was kind of the standard at the time. Like I said, he's kind of harboring towards the old one because, instead of coming with a better gun, he comes with one of the stupid, bulky guns. I really don't like the Power of the Force 2 guns. They were really big and bulky. They're just not very good in my opinion. But anyway, like I said, his face sculpt is better than like all the other really Power of the Force 2 looks, but this is kind of the face sculpt that was used in the later ones. Like I said, his body is still kind of too bulky, legs kind of spread apart too far. So that's really my thought about this. I can't complain about him too much because I bought him loose off of eBay for like $1 or less, so I don't really have any right to complain about him, but maybe that's it. Oh yeah, plus also of course he comes with the removable medal because it's the Yavin Ceremony Luke. But for how much I paid for him, I got what I paid for. Also, this is kind of what the slides look like. Not sure if you guys can see that really, but there's a picture in there of a film slide. You kind of see it now, of the Yavin Ceremony. With Luke, Han Solo, and Chewbacca there. On the bottom, it says Luke Skywalker celebrating the Rebel victory over the Death Star. So I had a bit of trouble reading there for a second. On the top it says Star Wars. On the back, it says Kenner, and then in the bottom it actually says it's actually Hasbro. They just went by Kenner at like the early days of Hasbro. For some reason, it says like all rights reserved and date and everything like that. So that's kind of one of the later figures I have. Another figure I kind of have from my childhood, just kind of later I think in Power of the Force. It might have been early, I'm not sure. But this is C-3PO. He's a pretty good version of him. Like I said again, this was the version as a kid, so he's pretty scraped up. His legs are really loose because like when I was little, I took his legs off and we used to put him on Chewbacca's back. But by the way, I used to have a Power of the Force to Chewbacca, but I gave him away to one of my friends, so don't have him anymore. He's pretty standable. He doesn't have like a perfect face sculpt, but he's a pretty good representation. Nothing bad about him really. Nothing to complain about. So that's him. And then one of the really the best Power of the Force figure I have, because like I said, I only really have 4, so it's really sad. But this is the Greedo. This is the later one. They had one that was still on steroids, but this one is really good. His face sculpt, it's phenomenal, I must say. I really like how his eyes are glossy, and I got him for really cheap. I think it was like $5 or something like that. I think the face sculpt, like, to me in person, it looks better than the face sculpt I've seen on the Saga Legends Greedo. I'm not sure if the Saga Legends Greedo is better. I haven't gotten him yet, so I plan to get him at some point though. He has, but anyway, he has a little bit of a pre-posed stand, but I think that's kind of made up for it because at the time, once again, in a novelty, he had like hinged knees, so he can sit at the bar course. He has a bit of a pre-posed arm too, but it's not too bad. It works. And I must say, I love his hands. That must sound really weird, but It's like the best grip I've ever had on a Star Wars figure. I mean, like, without exaggerating at all, I can say this is the best grip on any Star Wars figure I own. And it's not exaggerating at all. I'm serious. It's not. Because he comes with his blaster pistol. It's nothing really special, but not bad. But, see, the kind of way of his hands are made is because his fingers are so long, his thumb kind of has to attach. And there's like a very small hole for the gun to fit in his hand, so it clings in there really tightly. You can shake him around all you want, it's not going anywhere, which I really like. I hate it when figures have loose grips and stuff like that. But he kind of has a plastic vest. Because the main feature about that is really cool, again. When you open it, like when you kind of move the vest aside, you can see there's a blast mark, where Han shot him. Which is really cool, because then, you can make a scene after, Han has shot him. Because, of course, as we all know, Han shot him first. I'm not gonna try to get into that whole argument. And his left hand, by the way, can't really do anything. It's kind of too open, but doesn't matter. He doesn't really need to do anything with his left hand. I think, yeah, that's his left hand. Anyway, that's really all the figures I've showed. I'll be back in a minute with, I have, like, I'm going to talk about a bit about a Power of the Force playset I have. I don't have any vehicles to show you, but I'll show you that. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, in this part of this video then, I'm just going to give you guys a quick look at the box for the playset I have. This is called a Detention Block Rescue. As you can see, it's kind of got the red lightsaber design I talked about. And cartoon Darth Vader I don't like. Power of the Force logo. In the back it's got all the features. By the way, it's really weird on the box. Well, if you look at the little kind of holes in the ground, they're colored black, right? But when I got mine, they weren't, which is weird. So, actually, I did I'll go to mine with black paint and color these in because it makes it look a lot better. But, please don't expect that, you'll get that when you get yours. Now, don't get too disappointed, though, because I may be wrong. It may just be, like, like something that changes from one to the next of each of these, but I'm not completely sure. I'm gonna show you the size of the box really quick, though, compared to Boss, the Rebel Commando. So I have him here, just to kind of show you. The box isn't humongous, but good size box, obviously. I just decided to keep this because I don't like to do vehicle boxes where I like to keep vehicle boxes. Well, this isn't a vehicle, this is a playset. Anyway, then, this is the thing I want to show you then. As I said, on the grounds, you can, see these little kind of grates in there. Then, those aren't really, black when I got it. Same thing, even in the picture, the little grates on the escape hatch aren't black, but once again, I colored mine in black. It's got a couple peg holes around there, so, this is inaccurate, of course, but once again, I just got Boss out to kind of show you guys size. You can just stand him around on any of these pegs. There's two there, two there, and one there. So there's 5 pegs to stand your figures around. This door kind of slides open for the Leia's prison cell. So, doesn't want to close. Oh, there it goes. Got a couple stickers on there which make it look a lot less realistic, but I hope someday maybe if Hasbro could go back and repaint this, I would love that. To make it look even cooler. It's got a kind of gun here you can kind of control with this little handle here. It's like on a ball joint, so you can move it around a lot of directions, and it's got 2 missiles at the top. I'll just fire those really quick to show you guys. There's 1, there's 2. That's kind of what it looks like from you looked at it from that way. See, it's got these kind of things you can turn around, and then the guns on these can, sorry, these things come off really easily. These things can swivel, these guns can swivel back and forth. So overall, this is a really cool playset. So overall, I think some of the Power of the Wolves playsets are pretty cool. This is just my opinion of the one I own. I'm not sure what the other ones are like. That's just my opinion of the, with the experience I have. You do have to assemble it when you get it. Because I did, but it's weird. I keep trying to store it in the box, but it's impossible for me to fit all the parts in there. I have no idea how they pack them all in there. But, see, there's kind of the instructions. It's weird. It's not like a, it's not like a little book like most of the time. It's actually just a piece of paper printed on. I don't know. Maybe it might have just been like the person who gave it to me and sold it to me over eBay. Maybe they just didn't have the actual instructions and printed them. But I think these are the actual instructions. I'm guessing. I may be wrong. So that's kind of that. So you can kind of see what assembly you have to do. It's not much. You're not gonna have to get like a screwdriver, hot glue gun, and stuff like that to try to stick this thing together. And I did add a little bit of tape on the bottom, not sure if you guys can see that. See, I just added like a little bit of tape there because it kept falling apart. So, like when I have it set up, I had to add tape there just to kind of keep it together. In a couple other places, like here, because the sticker kept coming off, which is weird because it hadn't been applied yet, and I applied it myself. I guess they just weren't very sticky in the first place. But anyway, so overall, this is kind of what I think of Power of the Force playset set. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part, and I'll be back again with the next part of the whole question. Okay, I'm back with the final part of my review. Sorry it's taking so long. I know it's already pretty long video after trying to edit all these parts together and everything. But anyway, this is the final part. My thoughts on the character Palpatine, or Emperor Palpatine. I must say, as a character, I absolutely love him. I think he's a very well developed character. Mainly because, after like when I was a little kid and I saw Revenge of the Sith, after I saw Revenge of the Sith, I must say he scared the living crap out of me. I mean, after I saw like just how evil he was and stuff, and I was rather little at the time, so I just thought he was a great villain because I hated him so much. I know that like it sounds like I hate him, right? But because I just said, I hated him so much. But personally, that's the part I love about him. Personally, I think everybody else is kind of talking about him weirdly so far that I've seen. But everybody's like, I hate him as a character. Personally, I think you're supposed to hate him. He's a villain. If you don't hate him, what's the point? He's supposed to be evil. You're supposed to hate all the stuff he does, so, like, that you realize it's good when he's destroyed, and that you understand how the characters think of him, and that's the part that makes the character. You're supposed to hate him. That's, if you hate him, that proves that the actor played his part well. Others, Ian McDermott. That means he played his part well if you hate him. He's a villain. You're supposed to. The person, I think he's perfectly well developed. He's a very important character in the Star Wars universe. He's very well established even in the expanded universe. When we learn about his clones and everything. And of course, we see him in every movie. We see him in the Clone Wars. He's all over the place. Which person I love because I think he's a very cool character. That's kind of what I think of Emperor Palpatine quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed all the parts of this video. Until next time, may the Force be with you.